Joshua Tree. Welcome to my therapy. Because now my cursing is gonna stop, so I don't need my disclaimer no more. But it'll say therapy with a new extraordinaire Mcknight, or something random or just different like that. Because I'm extra and extraordinary like that. Whenever I reference being extra, or whenever I reference being extraordinary, in case for whatever reason you do not know, my birth-given middle name is Extraordinaire. A new extraordinaire Mcknight. Whatever it is, extraordinary, and that's what I said in the past. Let that go on your mind. When I said the word I'm looking for is extraordinary, because that's actually my middle name. And then that's when it gets interesting. And then you can see how I progress. I just watched a video right now that I recorded on Sunday, which was yesterday. Sitting on the bumper of my car. And I'm watching it. I'm telling myself, put this out as is. Let them know off top it's not going to be edited. So there might be like slight pauses, like where you see me thinking. So there might be like small pauses like that. But either way, like you typically have things that just come to the top of the head. As soon as someone says something or as soon as you see something, there's things that come to your head right away. Maybe put it on the news. Watch a news story and tell me what goes through your mind watching the news. For example, we watch KTLA a lot, ABC at 5 o'clock often, and then at 8 o'clock is always KCOW. So let's just say, for example, tomorrow you set up 2 GoPros, different angles, and you put on CNN and just watch the news. And now you're gonna see your initial reaction to these news reports. That's the thing, your initial reaction compared to after you've seen something 1,000 times, or even after you've seen it already. So this is not to say let's say you watch the same news report again. Let's say you watch it breaking news at noon, then you go home and you see it again at 5 p.m. That second reaction at 5 p.m. will be different than your reaction at noon. So a lot of times, I want to see that initial reaction. So when you get a question, and Tupac gets these questions, you're getting that initial reaction. Because I've first-hand experience. I don't need to explain it to you. But first-hand experience. If you're going to have an interview with somebody, especially a public figure, celebrity, etc., there are occasions they want to know what questions will be asked prior to the interview. If you know what questions they're going to ask you, you could already dictate. Is that the word? I'm going to Google this later, and if it works, I'm going to put it. You could dictate how you're going to answer those questions. If they tell you, here's a list of topics that we may or may not use, at the end of the day, if you have some material to go off of, it'll be easier for you when the material comes to you, whenever. But if you know in advance, it makes it easier. If you don't know, and here you are, and they give you something, you gotta think off the top of the head. Tupac answers a majority of his questions. Stop, thank you. Off the top of his head. And you can tell by his response. And you can see his eyes moving around and thinking. The same way that my eyes will move around and think as I sit here and start to record and start to talk. And that's what I'm looking for. These are initial thoughts. And this is why there are like a lot of those when I do my transitions. I'll split the video. I'll cut out parts of silence or things I just feel don't need to be brought to light. And then when I do that, I add a transition, which would be like a fade to black or a fade to white or that glitch or that little flash that I love to use. I like to use specific transitions because I have a lot to choose from. I use certain ones and just let you think like, oh, this is cool, oh, this is creative, blah, 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 blah. And I ride with it. What I love is when I'm sitting here talking and when you can see me thinking and you see my mind wandering. And I'm looking at the people driving by me as I'm talking to you, just because I'm looking at others' reactions to me. Sitting on the corner. When you guys are watching me talk and hearing me talk, do you hear the birds in the background? Go back to my other videos. Have you ever noticed the birds in the background? They are active all day long. When I come home at 6:30 in the morning and I say, thank you, G, because I made it home to see another day. My wife and my kids could see me for another day. And I say, thank you, G. There ain't no cars around yet because it's early. People are barely waking up and getting ready for their day. And those birds are active. I don't know what they're saying to each other. I have no idea what they're doing, clearly. But they are active. And they do continue on all throughout the day. But once you wake up, you go outside, you walk to your car, you get in your car, you drive to your destination, whether you're going to get Starbucks first, going to get some pastry for your coworkers, going to get food for yourself, or whatever it is you're going to be doing. And then you hop in the car, you go get what you got to do. Let's say you're going straight to work. Let's say you're taking your kids to school. From that time point, did you ever hear or notice a bird chirping? Seriously. You probably heard it, but you didn't acknowledge it or recognize it or notice it. For example, whenever you drive places, like especially if you're in your hometown and you know exactly where you're going, do you ever notice telephone poles? Because they're everywhere. These telephone poles run and connect to each other everywhere. These telephone poles run through the most beautiful neighborhoods you will ever imagine. They go through Malibu. They go through Beverly Hills. These telephone poles are everywhere. But you don't look at telephone poles when you're driving. You're driving down the street and you see the banks and you see the restaurants and you see the stores and the coffee spots and people and the bus stops and things like that. Empty land, buildings, houses. Do you ever look at a telephone pole when you're out in public? Do you ever listen to the birds when you're out in public? Do you ever look at this car right in front of you that's making a left and wonder, where is he going right now? Is he going to work? Is he going home? Is he going to get something to eat? We don't know these things. These people that are in a rush, when they come to that stop sign, they don't have a half a second to completely stop, and they just want to keep going. Where are you in a rush to go? What are you in a rush to do? And I rush too, trust. And I'm not trying to say I will admit all day long, I'm not perfect. I'm far from perfect. Off top. As I work on everything I'm trying to do, I like, and the reason why I like to point out stuff and tell you I've said this in a video before and give you the references on where I got things from and why I say this and why I do that and where this came from is because a lot of times people still don't realize these things and people don't notice these things. The same way I just told you about, have you ever noticed a bird when you're outside? Have you ever looked at a telephone pole when you were in public? I can say these things because a lot of times people don't realize these things. So I'm pointing out the things that aren't so common, that aren't so average. I'm trying to point out things from a different perspective, from a different scenario. They say think outside the box. Can at work. When they tell you think outside the box, but you're living inside a box, things could get difficult. That is on my Instagram page. Go back and see how long ago it was I posted that. But I like to point out different things just to help people understand. Even being a supervisor and a manager at a hotel, a Marriott hotel. If you're a manager or supervisor, period, you have people underneath you you're responsible for. You need to train. You need to ensure your daily operations get taken care of and your daily operations are done and successful. So when you realize that you're dealing with multiple people that are on different levels of whatever it is, they're from different places, they're about different things, they understand things differently. Everyone is different. When you realize that you have to talk to so many different people in so many different ways, you're legit have to talk to your staff like they're kindergarteners. Kindergarteners. Like they are from, like they are still in kindergarten. Because you can tell them the simplest thing, the simplest task, and they still don't understand it. Or even the reasons why they're doing these small tasks. It's like, well, why do we need to do this for? What's this for? How come we gotta do this? A lot of things are simple, but some people just don't get it. So you do have to talk to people like they are in kindergarten sometimes. I have to reference things a lot and tell you things a lot and let you know why I'm saying this and why I'm saying that, just to make sure you understand where I'm coming from. And as I get further in, it's 15 minutes and 40 seconds right now. I told you guys I want to stop at 13. As I get further in, especially if children end up watching this, because children are going to have the most questions ever. The best person to give a child an answer, if it's not a teacher, because a lot of parents are just, I mean, you send the kids to school and that's what it is. The parents. I'm a parent, but I shouldn't be responsible for giving your child answers. I'm more than happy to, trust me. I'm more happy to smile on your child's face. I'm more happy to do anything I can for your child. I'm not gonna babysit if I just don't know who the hell you are. You say, hey, can you watch my kid for an hour? Come on now, let's be realistic. But if there's a child that needs an answer and I'm available and whatever happens, if someone puts a comment on this page that's a kid and wants to know what I think about this, yes, I'm gonna tell you. But the child's mother and father should be the number one and number two resources for these children when they have questions. They should be the 1 and 2 resources for these children when they need an answer. The third resource should be the teacher. After that, it's uncles, aunts, grandparents, etc. Family. Because we all have, okay, and here's where I'm like, okay, yeah, I have a positive outlook. Yeah, I want everyone to do well and be great. Let's say you don't believe in God. And then I tell your child, God is the way. Now you mad at me, right? Take responsibility and do what you need to do. And things will be great. Because just because you believe in something that I don't believe in doesn't mean we can't be friends. Just because you like a minivan, I like a SUV, doesn't mean we can't be friends. Because you like a sedan and I like a convertible, doesn't mean we can't be friends. We all have differences. Because you listen to country and I listen to rap. Are we not friends? Come on now. Because I like bass and you don't like bass. Are we not friends? Oh, I'm so sorry because my skin is dark and your skin is not dark. Are we not friends? Think about these things, please. 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 I don't want to get too carried away, so I'm just going to stop now. This is going to be for the next video. And if I never bring this thought back to life again, which I know I will, so I'm not worried about it. This video is meant to end now. God told me. He didn't pop out these clouds and say, hey, Anu, stop. I could look up and see the clock ticking. I see what time it is. I know what time it is. I see that clock ticking. I see the time of the day. And I know I need to shower and get ready for my day. This is going to be a lovely video to edit. And I want you guys to know I'm not going to be talking down on anybody. I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to keep it extremely anew. This is catered to me. But let me tell you, I really am extraordinary. So this will be beautiful. I promise you. Just open your eyes and trust in the plan.